We're literally priced out of every single life milestone.
You're working harder than ever. Everything costs more.
This might be the only shot normal Americans have left.
I'm going to live in this bell tent while I finish up the 10 by 12 starter cabin. When I tell you our grocery bill should be illegal, I am like slightly embarrassed / ashamed / appalled to even tell you what the number is.
The amount of debit and credit cards that were declined were astronomical.
If it's not one thing, it's another, it's another, it's another, it's another. Like, you literally don't get a break from anything.
I'm so sick of my life.
Everyone is exhausted. Post-pandemic, the world, the exhaustion, the stimulation, the rhetoric.
I feel bad for Gen Z and Gen Alpha or whoever that is, because those people have never known the old world.
I'm slowly coming to the realization that we are the generation that has to do something, and it's one of the most difficult realizations to accept.
Quite a few things feel off in America right now, and many people can feel it. They are exhausted, burned out, and stretched thin in many ways that really didn't exist not too long ago. Because of this, more Americans are questioning the system. They are redefining what success looks like, or they are quietly opting out of the system altogether.
One day, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's the direction we're headed, with never-ending payments and never-ending subscriptions with never-ending price increases. And now, to fix affordable housing, we have the 50-year mortgage plan. It's almost like they want to work us to death. Because to be able to pay a 50-year mortgage loan, I can only imagine they're going to need to raise the retirement age. And if we're going from 30-year mortgage loans to 50-year mortgage loans, I guess we're going to go from retirement age being 67 to retirement age being 87. No thanks. I'd rather live in this. And that's my chicken coop.
Making homelessness illegal in a country whose minimum wage is $7.25 with a median rent of $1,400 is evil.
If you are a poor, like myself, you might be asking the question, how do people have money? How are they affording anything in life? And I'm here to tell you, they're not. How do I know? I'm a barista. I am. And today, the amount of debit and credit cards that were declined were astronomical. I'm talking the highest amount ever in one day that I've had to go up to people and be like, hey, I'm so sorry. Actually, this didn't go through. Do you have another card? And then them all giving me the same answer. Oh, really? No, I don't. And then leaving. Because, like, they're just giving me their cards, hoping, praying, not checking their bank account, just hoping it gets through so they can have a little caffeine to get them through their day. We don't have money. None of us have money, you know? They're just pretending they do, which sometimes works. Sometimes you have a few bucks just to get your coffee. Other times you don't. It was sad. It was a sad day. I also, during the holidays, this is the best tipping season. People love to tip during the holidays. And I know a lot of people feel weird about tipping. That's your business. I will tell you, it is the lowest tipping season I've ever had. And it's fine. It's fine. I'm not mad at it. I'm just letting you guys know where we stand. Economically, it's low. So if you're like, damn, I'm so poor, everyone else has money, we don't. None of us do. We're faking it, baby. We're pretending.
I got my electric bill for the month of November, and it's $300, and it hasn't even been cold yet. Last winter, I was paying up to $700 a month in the winter months. Yeah, $700. So what am I doing this year? I'm going to freeze. I'm keeping my thermostat on 55 when I go to work, and when I come home, whatever room I'm in, I'm going to turn the heat on in that room until it gets warm, and then turn it back again when I go to sleep. Because this is the life of planet Earth. You work just to pay your rent and your heat and your air, whatever the hell it is, okay? And then whatever's left, you get to go food shopping. So today, food shopping is a privilege. If you're lucky enough to have any money left after you pay your freaking rent and your utilities, you get to go buy food. There you go, rant over.
Look, if you all even give a anymore, I don't.
People are tired. People are now accepting that whatever is happening, that it just happened. People are burned out and people are giving up in everything that is happening around them. Life is not the same as it used to be. Things are getting tougher day and night. People are losing jobs. Insecurity is getting heightened. But remember, we were warned about these days. We were warned that these days will come to be and these days will come to happen. And indeed, We are seeing them happening in real time, and we're now seeing what black people have always been trying to warn these people that this is something that will happen. And brothers and sisters, it is happening in real time, because we now are getting to see what black people want about this. Life will get so tough for everyone. And understand, there is as nothing as big lie that America lied to people. But black people knew this. Two things that they lied about. First, they lied about the American dream. They showed America as a land of opportunities, a land of people to come and change their life, where people can get everything that they wanted. But as time went by, these didn't seem to be the truth. As time went by, the situations got worse and worse and worse. And what it kept revealing that the United States is crumbling, America is collapsing. So that's what we saw. That's the first thing. The American dream, people were sold American dream, only to lie, only to learn that all these were lies. The second thing that people were sold, which was also a lie, meritocracy. See, meritocracy asserts that if you put work, you are definitely going to find results. I can explain it to you the simplest way in layman's language, that in as much as you are putting in the work, you have higher chances of winning. But that didn't seem to be the truth of America. That didn't seem to be the truth of America, because people are now seeing the truth that there is no such thing as meritocracy. We have the top 1% and the bottom 99%. And literally, BlackRock is owning everything, and they don't want you to have anything. You will own nothing. That's what they're doing to the people of America. So people are disillusioned, and all these things that is going on. Brothers and sisters, I want us to watch this video. You know, I'm your host and presenter, Agent Stories. And if you're watching me for the first time, you know, I'm asking you to please subscribe to my channel. For those who are always watching my videos and haven't subscribed to my channel, brothers and sisters, I'm appealing to you. I'm asking to you, humbly as a brother, to please subscribe to the channel. So brothers and sisters, let's watch the video. I'll be back.
Even understand why. Like, we're literally priced out of every single life milestone, from marriage and children to owning a home and moving out. Like, there's no reason to care anymore. Somebody give me a reason to give a because I cannot find one. We're literally priced out of development. We can't even afford to live. Like, why should I care about anything anymore? Except maybe 20, 30 years from now investing, because there's still a glimmer of hope for that. But we're not even living. We're not even living to live. We're just working to live, guys.
You know why I'm leaving this country? Because no one's going to do anything about this. We just found out some of the most horrific things, which if even a morsel of it is true, it's really bad. And no one's doing anything about it. So for those of you who are like, you should stay and fight, with whom shall I fight this battle? Because everyone's still, you know, boycotting Star Schmucks and McFolds and holding parades. And I'm not opposed to those things. I'm still doing those as well. But if that's all we're doing, yeah, we're just all going to sit in this escape and watch. We are no better than the audience members at the Coliseum. If you decide to actually fight, if anyone decide, and I know, I shouldn't, we need a leader. Great. There isn't one at this time. As soon as the fight actually starts and you guys decide, the majority decides to actually stand up to this shit, give me a call. I'll get on the first plane and come right back and help you out. Until then, I'm out.
Does anybody else just get like weird urges just not to be here anymore? Because that's where I'm at in my life. Like, I'm so sick of my life. And the only reason I'm here is because of my dog. What's up, bub? If I didn't have my dog, I would not be here. And it's really starting to hit me today for some reason. Like, I wish I had, I don't know, friends, family. Just over it, to be honest.
I think this is about the truest statement going on in the world right now. I think that everyone is exhausted post-pandemic, the world, the exhaustion, the stimulation, the rhetoric. There is this constant pressure on everyone. And I think like capitalism, end of days kind of thing with like growth. And I'm not for it anymore. It's time to slow the down. I feel like I'm on the slow it down and catch my breath moment. Who's with me?
Does anybody else feel like there must be something real good coming, something real big coming, because all you do constantly is have warfare in your life in every single area? I know it can't be just me, because I've talked to so many people about this. It can't be. Like, if it's not one thing, it's another, it's another, it's another, it's another. Like, you literally don't get a break from anything. And it's constant stress, constant anxiety, constantly with one thing coming at you, and then you resolve that, and there's another one. Then there's another one. Then there's another one. Literally, people can't afford to pay their bills. It's bad in so many different areas. So does anybody else feel that right now? Like, spiritually, that like something big has to be coming, especially for the people of God, because there's no reprieve from any of this, and it just keeps getting worse, and you just feel like you get no rest, no break. Anybody else? Because it's been like this for me for a while, and I just feel like it's never gonna end. And I know it will, but one day, but it's just so discouraging and so hard, and so many people want to give up right now. Anybody else feel that way? I know you're out there. Somebody else has to feel the way that I do, because this is crazy.
This is the kind of home people love to judge, but in a housing market where a starter home is $350 to $400K, this might be the only shot normal Americans have left. Yep, it's a mobile home, not a luxury condo, not a McMansion, but it's safe, it's affordable, and it won't drown someone in debt. Everyone screams affordable housing, but when we show them the solution, suddenly they're too good for it. Make that make sense. Now, we're giving this one a light upgrade, skirting repairs, power wash, fresh paint, a little bit of rehab, just bringing it back to life, but no bulldozers needed. The inside's not great, but it's not destroyed. Most investors would walk away, but we don't. We fix it. Now, you can hate on mobile homes all you want, but you know what people really hate? $2,000 of rent and saving nothing. This little home provides privacy, storage, parking, a yard, and no shared walls with other tenants. We don't need more luxury housing. We need attainable housing. Homes normal people can own, not lease forever. Would you live here? Smart move or trash housing?
I live off grid. I started off in a 2-3 person tent from Walmart, like the cheap $30 one. And I recently just upgraded to a 16-foot or a 5-meter bell tent from Stout Tents. It's the double door version. It seems super durable, super sturdy. I did a lot of research on bell tents before picking this one. I'm going to live in this bell tent while I finish up the 10x12 starter cabin. Hopefully it'll be done in the spring. But I got this set up for the most part. Not exactly how I want it, but again, it's getting dark out. So yeah, over here I plan on doing like my remote job and keeping my cooking supplies. I got this beautiful antique set from my grandma that her parents supposedly thrifted. That's gonna be one of my projects that I'm looking forward to, is redoing those and bringing them up to snuff, because I don't know how old they are, but they definitely need work. Beautiful, beautiful pieces though. And then I got my little side table stand thing. I'm going to keep my books and like my knitting and my crochet projects to tinker on. And then I just got a little camping cot. Eventually, I want to switch this out for either a queen or a king, I'm not sure. And then this side's just got this extra space right over here. I do have a cutout for a camping stove. I'm not planning on getting a camping stove. I'm just going to tough it out this winter, because I don't want to drop a couple $100s on that and then hopefully turn around next year and buy an actual wood stove for the cabin. The lowest it's been is 22 degrees, and I was perfectly fine in my 0-degree bag. A little bit chilly, but I put my blanket over my head and I was perfectly fine. I do have a negative 25-degree sleeping bag coming in. Can't wait for that. Pretty much just for insurance, and I do like to be on the hotter side. But yeah, this is the long-awaited bell tent, and I'm super excited to finally be in it. It's felt amazing waking up in, and the space is just, it's a blessing. Ironically enough, it's going to be bigger than the cabin, square footage wise, which is crazy to think, but yep.
It feels like we are in an emotional standoff in our society. Everyone needs support, and no one can give it. No one has the space for it. We're all collectively doing terrible. And as a millennial that has, I guess, lived through a lot of once-in-a-lifetime shit, the time I'm living in now feels unprecedented, and I think we're all feeling that. But I sort of say that because I feel bad for Gen Z and Gen Alpha or whoever that is, because those people have never known the old world, and us millennials were the last ones to know the old world, where despite the 2008 financial crisis and all that bullshit and 9/11 and how that changed everything, when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, I was getting older and going into the world with the expectation that more or less I was going to have a normal life. And there was never a thought about anything like this happening like it is now. However, that could have just been me not paying attention to the warnings that were there. But I do feel like everything happening now is mostly unnecessary, with the exception of climate change. That shit was always coming for us, and we were always going to pay for that. And there was always going to be consequences for the way we have lived in a capitalistic society that pretends that we live on a finite planet, and the way we just consume and consume and produce and just make stupid plastic bullshit, and just the way we've destroyed the earth for mass farming and mass factory farming and all sorts of stuff. So there are always consequences, but I think we all are living the completely unnecessary consequences of just greed. Greed and power will be what ends humanity.
I just found out that in order to qualify for CalFresh food assistance in the state of California, you have to bring home for a family of two less than $1,758 a month. The average cost of a one-bedroom or studio apartment here in California is $1,400 to $1,800 for a tiny apartment. So if I bring home $1,800 a month, I can pay my rent and part of my car payment, and that's it, but I still wouldn't qualify for assistance with food. I currently have negative $210 in my bank account. I have no room on my credit cards. I have no money to buy groceries. But I still don't qualify for assistance from a system in which that I have paid my entire life, because I bring home more money than they determine is appropriate for somebody who needs help with food. I'm not sure what poverty index they are using. It's got to be ages old, because they're definitely not taking into consideration how much it actually costs to live here when determining if someone deserves to eat.
Does anybody else have mounting anxiety when faced with having to go to the grocery store, or is it just me? Because like every time I go, I know it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse. Everything's going to be more expensive than the last time. My husband does a lot of the grocery shopping for our family, so I'm a little bit insulated from it. But when I do go, it feels like I spend the entire trip being like, what the hell? How is this the price of orange juice? What do you mean coffee is on sale for $18 a pound? Wait a minute, the last time I bought this yogurt, it was 6 ounces and now it's 5.3. And I remember a couple of years ago when it was 8 ounces and now it's 5.3. Right? It's the fact that prices are going up, the shrinkflation is increasing. I went to the grocery store today with one of my kids. We had to get a couple of ingredients. She wanted to make scones, so we needed to get some heavy cream. And then there's this vegan chia pudding that she wanted to make, and so we needed espresso powder. And while we were there, we got some yogurt and a couple other things. I got cranberries so I could make a cranberry orange upside down cake. A bag of cranberries was $4. I feel like a year ago it was $1.69 and 3 years ago it was 69 cents. I filmed a video earlier today, which I haven't published yet, where I was talking about grocery prices. The Politico has this new poll that came out, like a week ago, asking Americans, what is the thing you are most worried about affording in 2025 going into 2026? And the number one answer was not rent, it was not your car payment, it was not your kids' college tuition. It wasn't even healthcare premiums. The number one thing that Americans in the wealthiest nation on earth are worried about being able to afford is food. Food. In the wealthiest nation on earth, Americans, your average American, is concerned about being able to afford to feed their families. And it's everywhere. I feel like it's across the board. I've seen a number of indicators show that depending on what kind of, particular grocery you're buying, costs can be up 12% or they can be up as much as 55%. Things like coffee are up 38, 40%. Bacon, ground beef, they basically doubled. Tariffs account for a lot of the increases. Fertilizer, farm equipment, y'all, those are imported. Everything is more expensive in Donald Trump's America. When I'm spending $3 or $4 for a pack of tofu that used to be a pound and is now 14 ounces or 12 ounces, when a jug of orange juice is $8, when a carton of heavy cream is $8.50, it's just, does this feel like prosperity to you? Does this feel sustainable to you? This is what I bought today, and I spent $43.24. We didn't even need a grocery bag. My daughter and I just carried the food out in our hands.
I'm slowly coming to the realization that we are the generation that has to do something, and it's one of the most difficult realizations to accept. All throughout history, we've learned and watched some of the worst atrocities be handled by groups of people who had to stand up and do something about it. And I think we've been conditioned to be more comfortable observing from a distance than getting rid of our discomfort. Whether you are pro-life or pro-choice or pro-Second Amendment or anti-guns or religious or atheist, we are living in an era where we have to behave differently right now. We've grown up reading about all of these revolutions and all of these stories of these people fighting back against power. We've watched these movies and TV shows telling these great stories about these heroes that got together and fought the odds. And I think we are unfortunately living in the generation that has to be the people who do that. Because every single day we are witnessing more and more evil come out from its hiding place. And I know it's so easy to just hope and wait for someone else to be the first one to do something, but I honestly don't think that we have much time. We're living in an age where we can organize groups of people and communicate with strangers across the world instantly. And I don't know what needs to be done. I don't know how to even begin doing what needs to be done, but I'm willing to try and at least get people together so we can figure it out. Because at the end of the day, I have so much more in common with the pro-life, pro-Second Amendment Christian that lives next door to me than I ever will with the top 1% multi-billionaires of the world. So aside from all of these social issues that we could debate on endlessly, leave a comment and just let me know that I'm not the only one realizing this, because it's honestly a very isolating feeling when just walking around.
So how are we supposed to save money if we're paying $6,000 to $7,000 a month in childcare? How are we supposed to save any money? How are we supposed to, because there's two schools. There's the people who don't work because they can't pay that, and then the people who are paying that and then have like minimal left over. Where's the money going for college? Where's the money going for retirement? Like, I'm lucky that mine's automated and I have a cash balance account, but like, where's it going? Where's it go? How are we saving for vacations? How are we like, if we're not doing it on a credit card, how are we doing this? Where's Susie Orman? Where's Dave Ramsey? Because these people, these fuckers have no idea what we're actually living in. They're like, well, you should save up, buy a beater, never go on vacation, live with your parents. I'm like, that's not possible. Okay, so tell us how we do this. How do we save when we're giving away all of our paycheck to child care? And if you have kids that are 5-6 years apart, this is going on for 11 years that you're paying these costs. So how do we do that? I need the finance advisors, not some 25-year-old who won it big in a stock market, to tell us how to really do this. Oh, and then your taxes go up too. My taxes have gone up from $8,000 to $17,000 in 7 years. Didn't budget that. Homeowners insurance, because of all the wildfires, it's affecting us out here in Massachusetts. Didn't budget that. Like, what's going on? And then I just told you about summer camp. That's going to be thousands. Like, answer me, because I really want to know.
When I tell you our grocery bill should be illegal, I am like slightly embarrassed / ashamed / appalled to even tell you what the number is, but I'm gonna. We've been spending on average $1,800 a month for groceries. This is for a family of 4, me, my husband, a 2-year-old, and a 9-month-old. What? Now, I do want to preface a few things. We eat all of our meals at home. Like, we don't eat out. Maybe once a month we do. My husband works from home. I'm at home all day. The girls are at home. So like, we eat 3 meals, 2 snacks at home. We do have some dietary restrictions. My whole family's allergic to dairy. One of them is also allergic to eggs. We do buy things that are like organic, grass-fed, grass-finished, whole foods, fruits, veggies, protein. I'm exclusively breastfeeding, so I do eat a lot, like 3,000 calories a day, 160 grams of protein. My husband's a big dude, like 6'4", 220. He eats 200 grams of protein. Like, we all eat really well. We eat really healthy, but I've just never had a budget. It's kind of like ignorance is bliss. You know, when like something's probably bad, but you just ignore it because like ignorance is bliss. You just like, if I don't know, then I don't know. Well, I know now. I tracked the last 6 months, and that's like on average how much we were spending. And I just buy whatever because I can, and I'm grateful for that. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. So each week I'm going to focus on meal prep, meal planning, planning our stuff out in advance, shopping our pantry. And I should say this, but we already do those things, like, but I just never paid attention. Typically shop at like Walmart, Costco, Target, Pick and Save. Those are like our 4 big ones. Most of it's at Walmart. But some of the dairy-free things that I need tend to be more expensive, and you can't get them everywhere. So sometimes I kind of have to hunt for those. But my goal for this month is to spend $1,000 and see how that feels. I don't want to set like a specific goal and like get discouraged. So I want to see how that feels over the next few weeks, if it's realistic. Really, I would love to get to 800, but we'll see. This is prioritizing protein, fruits, veggies, whole foods, eating at home.
I just feel like nothing is good anymore. Like, I feel like it's not good like how it was back in the day, like back in the 90s and in the early 2000s. Food, for example, food. I feel like places like Burger King, McDonald's, right? The places that we used to eat when we were kids, it was so good back in the day. It was so good. I remember getting the kids meal from McDonald's, and I used to get the cheeseburger, and it was so good. Now I'm like, I'm not gonna touch that stuff because it's not good anymore. I just remember being a kid and just like going to these restaurants and things were amazing. I don't know, maybe we were kids and they just always tasted like that, and that's just how it tasted, and we were just used to it. Now we're adults and maybe our palates have changed. I don't know.
Something is deliberately wrong with the way work and money feel in America right now. Think about it. You're working harder than ever, everything costs more, and the ground beneath you feels thinner every year. This isn't poor planning. This isn't your fault. It's extraction, engineered and refined over decades. No one mastermind planned it all at once. It happened gradually. Big money bought the rules it needed, little by little. Loophole by loophole, merger by merger. Behaviors that extracted the most were rewarded with billions. Behaviors that actually protect people were starved out. I'm not anti-capitalism. Real capitalism, fair competition, rewards for creating value, markets that serve everyone. That's not what we have. What we have is a rigged version that turned capitalism into an extraction machine. Now it does one thing perfectly: pull wealth upward. It's not workers versus owners anymore. Business owners are being bled dry too. It's all of us against this system. Look at the mechanisms. Tax codes written by lobbyists. Your wages taxed immediately and heavily. Their wealth sheltered, deferred, and taxed at half the rate. Private equity vultures buy good companies, load them with debt, strip the assets, fire the workers, raise prices, and then walk away richer when the corpse collapses. Products engineered to break so you buy them again. Jobs tracked and optimized until burnout feels like your failure. Wages calibrated precisely, high enough to keep you from revolting, low enough that one emergency wipes you out. Apps harvesting your data and attention and selling it back as ads and subscriptions. Money printer, reserved for the connected, trillions when their markets wobble, lectures for you when you can't afford rent. This isn't freedom. This isn't efficiency. This is organized theft wearing the costume of markets. It's killing our health, our family, our futures. We've been told this is normal. It's not. Stop pretending. See the machine clearly. Name the theft out loud. Once enough of us see it and understand it the same way, we can decide what comes next. If you're ready to stop calling this normal, comment, "I see it." We begin with agreement.
So many of these stories are becoming a reality for a lot of Americans. It's sort of a new normal. And we have to ask ourselves, if this is what normal looks like, should we accept that? Should we keep chasing a system that keeps moving the finish line? Things that were good enough before are really not good enough now. People used to be able to plan for retirement. They used to plan for a home, plan for children, plan for climbing a corporate ladder, whatever it is that their goal was. A lot of things are just so out of reach now because they're becoming less and less attainable. Things are not the same like it was before. Things are increasingly harder and people are feeling the pinch more and more. They are being crushed by these pressures that are constant in our society. So again, should we keep chasing a system that keeps moving the finish line? Or is it time to maybe rethink what freedom, stability, and success look like in America today? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I really would love to hear from you. Also, check out our new podcast. My husband and I have just started it, the New Exodus podcast. I'll put the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for everybody that's been joining us. We really love being able to connect with you guys there on that podcast. So thank you so much for the comments there and just all the feedback that you've been giving. We really just enjoy reading that and building a community over there. So thank you again for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you also at the New Exodus podcast where we can get to know each other even better. And until the next video, take care.
So, the American dream is the idea that anyone in the United States can achieve prosperity, home ownership, upward mobility through hard work and determination. This has long been promoted as a core national ethos of the United States, of America generally. However, many critics have come out and many critics argue it functioned more as a myth or deliberate oversimplification that misled generations of Americans about the realities of opportunities in a deeply unequal society. This promise emerged prominently in the early 20th century, popularized by historian James Tuslow. James Tuslow Adams in 1931. But its roots trace back to settler ideas of land and freedom. In practice, it often masked structural barriers, encouraging people to blame personal shortcomings for systemic failures rather than questioning the systems itself. So, one way the American dream lied was by promoting a rags to riches narrative heavily influenced by Horatio Alger stories as a universal truth. These tales suggested that virtue and grit alone could lift anyone from poverty to wealth, ignoring how rare such outcomes actually were. While in reality, economic mobility has declined sharply, while about 92% of the children born in 1940s earned more than their parents. That figure dropped to around 50,000 for those born in the 1980s. Factors like inherited wealth, access to quality education, and family networks played a far larger roles than individual effort. Yet the dreams framed success as purely merit-based, leading to many internalize failure as a personal defect rather than a reflection of an equal starting point. So, the dream also concealed concealed the foundational exclusion built into American society. From the outset, it was not available equally to all. Indigenous people faced dispossession. Enslaved Black Americans and their descendants endured systemic racism through the Black Codes, Jim Crow laws, redlining, and mass incarceration, while immigrants and other minorities often encountered barriers to wealth building. So, post-World War II, the suburban ideal of home, car, and nuclear family was heavily subsidized for white Americans via policies like the GI Bill, but denied or limited for others. Critics point out that the dream was partly propaganda to justify exploitation and maintain social order, selling the illusion of equal opportunity, while the dirty underbelly of inequality persisted. So, economic shift further exposed the lie. The post-war boom created temporary conditions where manufacturing jobs, strong unions, and rising wages made the dream seem attainable for many working-class families. However, globalization, deindustrialization, outsourcing, and the rise of precarious gig work eroded that foundation. Rising costs of housing, healthcare, and education outpaced wage growth, turning home ownership a cornerstone of the dream into the elusive goal for the younger generations. Meanwhile, wealth concentrated among a small elite, with critics like George Carlin famously equipped that you had to be asleep to believe it. That's the American dream for you. As corporate interests prioritize profits over broad prosperity. Today, the American dream promise ring hollow for many, with polls showing nearly half of the Americans believe it no longer exists. It has shifted from a vision of freedom and family life to a narrower focus on material success that fuels consumerism and debt. While hard work remains valuable, structural issues like income inequality, declining social mobility, and place-based disadvantages, for example, the Rust Belt or certain rural areas, all this means that outcome often depend more on bad circumstances than effort. The dream's enduring powers lies in its motivational appeal, but its oversimplification have contributed to disillusionment, to resentment, and failure to address root causes of inequality. So in essence, the American dream did not so much lie outright as present and incomplete and idealized story that benefited those in power, while setting unrealistic expectations for the broader population. So, acknowledging its limitations allows for more honest conversations about building genuine opportunities rather than clinging to the myth. So, brothers and sisters, please let me know what you'll think about this. I'm your host and presenter Genetic Stories, but until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salud.